Let's talk some politics now, because former Vice President Dr. Bawumia continues to lead the New Patriotic Party's presidential race, but a new poll indicates a tightening contest as Kennedy Agyapong gains ground. The Global Info Analytics survey puts Dr. Bawumia at 45%, while Mr. Kennedy Agyapong is rising to 31%. Dr. Brian Agyapong is trailing at 3%, while 20% of respondents are either undecided or decline to disclose their choice, pointing to a more competitive race despite Dr. Bawumia's clear lead. Let's take you through some of the findings of the polls that was conducted by Global Info Analytics. So these are the figures. This is how it's looking like. It asked that who leads NPP in 2028, the likely voters model, and then Dr. Bawumia is leading with 45%. Kennedy or Hene Agyapong is trailing with 31%. You can see Brian Agyapong with 3%, Dr. Yao Seyaduchum 0%, and Kwabena Agyapong is also 0%. And 11%, according to Global Info Analytics poll, the undisclosed, and 9% of the potential or likely voters say they are undecided. The poll also asked, will there be unity after campaign? And this is comparing two different dates. And then the time period is the 24th or 25th of November. It had 87%, 89% saying yes. The poll of 25th December also has the same number of 89% saying yes. But it is the no that you see a bit of a difference. So if you look at the one that they did in November, the ones that are saying that there will be no unity after the campaign were 3%. Now that percentage has risen by 3 to 6% in the recent poll that was conducted by Global Info Analytics. And 8% of the people that were polled in November say that they have no opinion on as to whether or not there will be unity after the campaign or not. And then 5% say they have no opinion in the latest poll in December. So that's the interesting analysis that Global Info Analytics has put in their survey. Let's get more on this and speak to Musa Dankwa. He's a poster with Global Info Analytics. We also have Dr. Ikuya Amuako. She's the deputy spokesperson for the Bawumia campaign team, and Kwabi Amwa also speaks for the Kennedy Agyapong campaign team as well. Gentlemen and lady, grateful for your time this afternoon. Let me begin with you, Mr. Musa Dankwa. How did you arrive at these pollings?
Right, thank you very much for having me. We sampled 3,500 delegates randomly across over 260 constituencies. And we've been posing this question to them for the past 4 months or so, including who would you vote for in the NPP primaries. And what we've seen is a bit of realignment of the numbers in the December poll. Now, if you look at the current poll, Bawumia is on 45%. That is up 43% from last time. And Kennedy, on the other hand, is on 31%, up from, I think, 18 or 19%. So you can see that Kennedy made huge gains, but Bawumia too made a slight gain. Now, what you see is that there are those who were undecided who are breaking down for the candidates, and those who are not disclosing also breaking out. From what we have seen, those who broke out to Kennedy were largely people from a group of people who said they were not disclosing, and now they are disclosing. Also, a number of people who said they were undecided also deciding, and some going to Bawumia and some going to Kennedy. But you could see Brian lost 2%, and that 2% went to Kennedy.
That's quite interesting, though. The other interesting aspect was whether or not there will be unity after the campaign. You have similar percentages from November and December as well. It appears that not much changed there.
No, what has changed slightly is those who say they don't have an opinion. I mean, having looked at the campaign in the last 2 weeks and how it's been a bit below the belt for many, you have seen that the delegates are a bit worried. Those who did not have opinion about unity now have firm opinion that the way it's going, the division will be something that they may have to deal with. And it's doubled from 3%, 6%. That is worrying.
You've mentioned that there's been slight gains for the two leading contenders, but really, who really stands to gain in your latest polling?
I think Kennedy made a lot of gains, huge gains. But what is helping Bawumia is that that gain didn't come at a loss to him. He didn't lose ground to Kennedy. Just those who were in the not disclosing column and not decided are the ones who are breaking to Kennedy. And Bawumia got a bit of that. If Bawumia was losing ground by losing votes to Kennedy, then he would be worried. At the moment, he's on 45%, and you need only 50% plus one to win. So he is much closer to the finish line than Kennedy is.
Another aspect of your polling says that Bawumia is leading with 56% among committed voters in your latest polling. What does that really mean, committed voters?
It simply means that those who are bold and mention people by name, if you isolate those people and see what proportion of them are voting for who, then you see that Bawumia is on 5-6%. Now, normally, these tend to be accurate to show you what will happen in the end if there were no people who were not disclosing. With the prevalence of not disclosing, this number tends to be slightly off the mark.
In the end, though, the emerging candidate or the one who will emerge victorious will need 50% to cross the finish line. And now it appears that none of the candidates has that. So which of them really should be worried?
All of them should be worried because you want to win convincingly. And Bawumia, for him, he has to win and try and beat his performance last time. It's very unlikely he will do that this time around. I think that's the reality he must accept, or his campaign must accept, because I think this time the competition is very tough. You have Brian, who is doing a bit well. You have Kennedy also for mounting insurgency. So you don't expect to hold the same number of votes as last time. Kennedy, on the other hand, is hoping that his insurgency campaign will get him a lot more votes than he did last time. And for now, he is doing okay, but not exceedingly okay to outsmart or outfox the leader of the race at the moment.
I'm curious to know what the reasons they gave as to which candidate they would vote for. Let's start with Bawumia. What did they say about him?
I think one thing that is working for him very well is the notion that if you present a candidate for the second time, he will do well. And they've been citing other cases where MPPs presented candidates twice and they did well. In some cases, they mentioned Nanado 3 times. Now, if you look at the question about do you share the notion that keeping someone twice there will help the candidate, you could see that in the last poll, about 59% of them were saying, yes, it will help. This time around, that number has reduced to 50%. And that's the reason why Kennedy made that huge gain. If he lost, or if he loses the argument about a second chance, then it will be very, very close. But from what we see today, if the polls are held today, I think he will stay with.
What about Kennedy? What reason did they give for voting for him?
I think they like his kind of new approach, insurgency approach, make changes, radical changes in the party, attending to party base, and so on and so forth. And also they believe that maybe Bawumia lost a bit last time. And for that matter, they don't think presenting him would be a good omen for the party. So they are thinking that bringing Kennedy would probably enhance MPP's chances. The problem, I mean, for Kennedy is the demography of MPP. And I think he needs to do a lot more than what he's currently doing. The demography of delegates are quite older and mature. And these people are very risk averse. They don't like gambling. And for some of them, voting for Kennedy may be a gamble.
That's quite interesting. Let's talk about the remaining 3 candidates. Altogether, they had 3% with Kwabena Agyapong and then Yao Osei-Aduchum having 0%. And we
no,
also...
it is near 0 because it's not absolute numbers.
Yeah.
It's 0 point something, 0.4,
Yeah.
0.3.
Yeah.
But when you sum them up, it becomes flatly 0. So altogether, the other candidates and Brian have about 4 points. 4%.
It's interesting, though, really, much attention has not been paid to the 3 other candidates. But if you look at their numbers, who is appreciating and who is depreciating amongst the 3?
If you look at the 3, they've all lost ground this time around. And Brian lost 2% compared to last time. So Brian was somehow gaining some momentum. But in the last 4 weeks, he has lost a bit of ground to Kennedy. So he needs to really watch his campaign. If you look at the regional numbers that we have put out there, you could see that Bawumia is winning or leading in 13 out of the 16 regions, whereas in Ashanti region, the dead heat in Ashanti region. And also Kennedy is leading in the central region and also Volta region.
I still have Dr. Ekwe Amuako and then also Kobi Amwa with me from the camps of Bawumia and Kennedy, Agyapong, respectively. I will come to you, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to wrap up with you, Musa Dankwa. When you look at the figures that you've had, according to your latest poll, does it mean that the election is likely to go for a runoff?
From today, I wouldn't say so, but I wouldn't know what the numbers would be in 4 weeks' time when our last poll comes out. From that poll, we can tell definitely whether the race is going to go on in the runoff or it will be one touch for any of them.
Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. Thank you very much. Let's now bring in the politicians. Dr. Ekwe Amuako is the Deputy Spokesperson for the Bawumia campaign team. Kobi Amwa is also a spokesperson for the Kennedy Agyapong campaign team. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the program. Let me begin with you, Dr. Amuako. Looking at the current polling, is the Bawumia campaign confident?
Hi, first let me say good afternoon to you and all those who are watching from across the country. I've had the time to meet a lot of you guys, and so let me just say a big Merry Christmas to you first. Now to your question. I believe this is not the first time polls have come out. We evaluate all the polls that come out, all the credible polls that come out, and then we see what we can learn from them to improve our campaign, and we've been doing that. If you've taken a clear look at the Global Info Analytics poll, you would see that His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is still clearly in the lead. I woke up this morning and I found it very funny that our opponents, who are still trailing by more than 10 points, found cause to jubilate. I mean, I wish I could inherit some of their blind optimism, because I don't see how you're trailing and you're happy. If the elections were held today, by this poll, you are not winning. So I don't see what is there for them to jubilate about. But for us on the Bawumia side, we've always remained focused. The goal that we are trying to achieve with this campaign has always been simple. We are trying to bring back the love in NPP. We are trying to reassure the delegates that we have a leader who is capable of bringing us victory. We are reminding the delegates that we have such a formidable asset in His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that the onus is now on us to do what best we can to help him become president so that we can lead Ghana into more progress. The message has been very simple. It's been going down well, and so we will remain focused on that. If you want to go into the nitty-gritties of the poll, I was just looking at the same Global Info Analytics poll for the 2023 NPP primary. And just give me a second to pull that up on my phone. The figures were looking very similar to what we have now with regards to where His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was standing and Honorable Ken. But when election day came, things fell in place, and then we all saw what happened. So this is, I mean, we're in the lead. There's no reason for us to worry too much. But as I said, we are not the type that get complacent. If you've seen the campaign of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he's campaigning as though he's starting from ground zero. We are making sure to touch base with every delegate from every corner of the country. And we've been doing that even across the Christmas, the holiday season. We've taken a break for a couple of days. Now we are in Greater Accra. And if you look at the way we scheduled our campaign tour, we left the more populous regions, that's the Greater Accra and Ashanti region, for last. So the Bawumia campaign has not been to Ashanti region yet. And we've only started in Greater Accra. We've done about 2 days in Greater Accra. And if you've been following, my brother, the reception and the warmth that we've been getting from the delegates in Greater Accra has been awesome. They are making it clear. And this time, it is not members of parliament that are given the endorsement, so that our brothers and sisters on the other side come and spin and say we are leaving the grassroots behind. No, this time it is the grassroots. We go to certain constituencies and there are, say, 20 electoral area coordinators. I'm pretty sure you are conversant with the structure of our party, but they man the polling stations. So if you are able to get about 18 out of 20, and it's been consistent almost everywhere we've gone to, electoral area coordinators coming out boldly to assure His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that they are going to do their best and work to support him for victory 2026 and beyond. I think it's an encouraging message, and we are going to continue to do the best that we can. And we are very confident that come January 31st, the delegates will make the right choice for the people of Ghana.
Dr. Agyapong, don't go yet. I'll come back to you. Let me now bring in Kobe Amwa with the Kennedy Agyapong campaign team. Kobe, your sister, or if I should put it that way, Dr. Amwako, is saying that there's no cause for jubilation because you're trailing by more than 10% in the latest polling. Does she have a point? Why is your camp jubilating when you're trailing by more than 10% in the latest polling?
The lighter side, the care that's my sister. So you're not wrong at all. I think that anything up, like for any time you see a poll, there are two things you look at. That's the credibility of.
Unfortunately, it appears we lost Kobe Amwa there, but we'll try and reconnect with him. But I still have Dr. Ikuya Amwako on the line. Dr. Amwako, you were saying that you were in a lead. That's a very infamous word used by Guinean politicians. We're in a comfortable lead. Now, this poll, once upon a time, had your candidate somewhere around 70%, and now he's fallen to a little above 40%. Does it not worry your camp?
No, I don't think I've seen a global info analytics poll on NPP delegates where we were around 70%. You might have to provide that for me.
Yes.
It's always been, yes. And even when I was listening a bit when Musa Dankwa was speaking, even he stated that fact that it's always been around the 40s from his poll, if we are looking at just his poll. Other pollsters have put out their work. I saw really good work done by Conrad, the Conrad Adenauer Foundation, also having slightly higher figures, but it's still about the same range. We've also seen polls from APL, but I've not seen a global info analytics poll where we've come from 70%. I don't think he's ever put us at 70%, because I've been following his polls keenly.
But you're still not above 50%. That is the threshold that is needed to win this particular primaries. Does that not really worry you in the camp?
No. You see, polls are something that, as politicians going into a campaign, you take a look at. And we also have a lot of internal polling. Those we usually do not put out. But we also have a lot of internal mechanisms to let us know our strengths and weaknesses and where to improve and whatnot. The polls, the position of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, even going by the Global Info Analytic poll, has been consistent. I can remember the first one he brought out somewhere in August was around 40-something. I can't be sure. But it's been consistent around that region. And like I said earlier, if you compare it to the polls he put out in 2023, going into our primaries, I'm just trying to pull that up for you now. I think the story was actually made by Joy. Yes, let me pull that. At that point, this was right a month before the primary. At that point, he had put His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at 43 and Kennedy Agyapong at 23%. And at that point, there were even speculations of a runoff. This was in 2023, a month before the election, at 43%. And in the end, we saw what we did. So if right now we are almost there, with a large number of undecideds and undisclosed, and you are almost at 50%, I do not think that there's cause to worry, really. And so I would want to encourage all of the people that are supporting His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, those who are undecided and everything, that right now we are looking at coming up with a united front. So we need a person, we need a leader who is not divisive. I don't know if you've been monitoring things that have been happening in the media of late. One of our opponents, I think when campaigning somewhere in the Ashanti region, and the tone and the nature of the campaign, was so divisive to the point that the communication officers of the party in the Ashanti region, about 90% of them felt the need to hold a press conference and send a little caution to the aspirants to ensure that their campaigns are not extremely divisive, because the onus will fall onto the party to clean up everything that has been done in the name of campaigning and in the past few months. So I think it's very clear that the spirit of the NPP, as I always say, is still behind Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. All you need to do is have gone around the country and to see the excitement that people have and the confidence that people give us that, we see what you are doing. We are very pleased with what you are doing. Continue, because we need a leader that can hold the party together. We need a leader whose temperament is not divisive.
Right.
So I think that's been, and just like Musa said, the demographic of the party is very conservative. They are not the type to fall for some of the antics that our opponents are putting out. And so I would hope that now that we're in the home stretch, we will all re-infuse some dignity and decorum back into the politics, leave the tribal and ethnic sentiments that have been proven to have very little bearing on our election aside, because these are all problems NPP as a party would have to face head-on post January 31st. But like I said, we do not have complacency in our books. If you've ever been in a position to work with His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, you understand very well what I'm saying. He's one of the most hardworking people you ever come across. He's still going to wake up at dawn, and we are on and going to campaign. So you are still going to see the campaign move around. I'm very sure that the endorsements that we've been receiving in Greater Accra is going to continue. I'm very sure that the delegates in Greater Accra want to send a clear message as to where they are, so that the party can remain together and we can keep pushing forward.
Dr. Amwako, Kobe Amwa is back on the line. Kobe, I believe your line is better now and you can hear me. I was asking you why, according to Dr. Amwako's camp, that you are trailing by more than 10%, and it appears that you are jubilating already. That's not victory, is it?
So, as I was trying to say earlier, anytime you see polls, there are two things you look out for. The credibility of the data. The credibility of the data, that's one, and also the methodology. I've been following Mr. Dankwa's poll on this election for a very long time, since we started. And even as of last month, Kennedy was at 18%. So if you think it's just a 10% margin, that 10% margin, Kennedy had an extra 13%, even like within the space of a month. So I don't think that is really the point. The point is, how well are the candidates doing? How well are the delegates responding to the campaigns of the candidate? Kennedy started at 17. Within a space of, he started at 17, he was at 17 for a while. Bawumia started at over 50. He's come down to around 40, around 45, 44, and he's plateaued. He's not had any significant increase since then. Kennedy has moved 13 points up within the space of a month. I think that is cause for worry for them. Obviously, I don't know if you are very, very well. I don't think it's something that they will admit. But I know this is causing a lot of panic in their team. I think at Team Kennedy, what we are doing is we are just focused on our messaging. It's very obvious our message is working. Let me, just one indicator. The first poll actually says that the reason that a lot of the delegates were voting for Dr. Bawumia was the fact that they believe that he deserved a second chance. After our message went down very well, everyone has realized that it's going to be difficult for him to, a second chance for him is going to pose challenges for the party, because even with the first opportunity we gave him, the performance was not good enough to warrant a second chance, and second chances have historically, through the history of the party, been given based on performance. So it's obvious that our message is going down. It's obvious that the campaign is doing well. And we've seen other polls that have put Kennedy ahead. I think that we are really focused on our messaging. We are really focused on letting people know the kind of person Kennedy is, what Kennedy has to offer to the party and to Ghanaians at large. I don't know if you give me the chance to respond to two things that Mami said.
Go ahead.
If you have other questions. So yes, we spoke about the fact that she thinks that Dr. Bawumia is the one to unite the party. The party was given to him from the 2020 results. The NPP has 6.7 million votes. And due to a lot of factors, including disunity, our votes was reduced from 6.7 to 4.6. So if you are looking for someone who can unite the party, it's definitely not Dr. Bawumia, because he couldn't even protect what was given to him the last time. It was through that electioneering process that we really had the likes of Alancha Martin and all moving out and forming their own political party. Then she also mentions the fact that a group of communicators from Ashanti region have organized a press conference against Kennedy. But I would like to ask the question, where was this press? This press conference was organized at Dr. Bawumia's campaign office. And it's very funny when we try to create a certain impression and people try to arrange things like this to create a certain impression, which is obviously not working. I think the Kennedy team is focused. Kennedy is focused on message, which is number one, to create jobs for the people, number two, to create jobs for Ghanaians, number three, to create jobs for the Ghanaians. And I think the party delegates have understood that if we really want power, if we are really serious about getting power in 2028, then Dr. Bawumia is not the candidate. Recently, I remember Dr. Bawumia got into trouble with Dr. Bawumia's camp because I think he made a certain assertion that Dr. Bawumia promised or he campaigned on the fact that he had the support of the Zongo community. But if you look at the number of Zongo communities in Ghana, he won only one. And you see people trying to skew it to define what a Zongo, a community definitely may include a couple of polling stations. For instance, if you go to Medina, there's a huge Zongo community there with a couple of polling stations. But if you take them community by community, the polling stations in each community, to look at it from the analysis from a community perspective. For instance, when we had the Zongo Development Fund, we looked at Zongos as community, not as polling stations. And that was how developmental support was given. And if you look at all these, from that data, it was only one Zongo in the whole country that our candidate was able to win. Out of the 15 regions, there were 7 regions where our candidates couldn't win just a single constituency. So I think the party people have realized that we need a change in candidates, and the party people have decided to rally behind Kennedy.
What's the nature of your campaign now? We know that it's Christmas Eve, but politicians never rest. How is the campaign going?
So far so good. I came back from the voter region, voter notice regions, with Honorable Natoshi, joined the voter notice. Honorable Kennedy was in the Ashanti region. He's taking a short break. He's going to return to the Ashanti region. There's still a lot going on, a lot of background meetings, a lot of influencers, and also trying to arrange logistics for the D-Day. Mind you, we are just about 39 days to the elections, so there are a lot of things that are also happening at the background. But our official campaign activities are going to resume somewhere around the 28th of this month.
Right. Dr. Amwako, briefly, you two, how is the campaign? How is the Bawumia campaign going? In 30 seconds.
The Bawumia campaign is going well. You know, this 30 seconds you've given me will not be enough for me because...
For the sake of time.
Yes, I'll try and make it very brief. He has used this opportunity to introduce a lot of propaganda that has to be debunked. You see, when you run your entire campaign on this person has gone once, he didn't win, so we should not present the person again. When that goes against the culture of the party, you are fighting against yourself. I have one question for Kobi Amwa. How is he so sure that his candidate would have done better? The NDC has a treasure trove of tapes of things that the candidate himself has said that I cannot even repeat on your show this afternoon because it would be very distasteful. So that is what the NPP has awaiting them if we make that mistake. And I think the delegates are very much aware of that. And to quickly dispel this Zongo polling station argument, I have one question for you, my dear friend. Are votes counted in polling stations or they are counted in communities? If to make your argument, you have to play some word gymnastics. It just means it doesn't hold any water. There are several polling stations in Zongo communities where His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia won the election. And so that lie that they've been peddling needs to stop. To say his own people, again, did not vote for him is an absolute lie. The results of the election are public record, and everybody knows that His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is from Wale Wale constituency in the Northeast region. Wale Wale constituency is the only constituency where our votes increased by 25% in the last election, and you can fact check me on that. In the Northeast region, our votes increased by 10%. So you can fact check me on that. So that argument, that lie, that they intentionally perpetuate that his own people did not vote for him holds no water. To contrast, in Central region, we lost the region, even though we were made to believe that at that point, Honorable Agyapong was with the campaign and helping the NPP go and win the election. We lost Central region. We lost his seat where he was Member of Parliament for 24 years. The NPP suffered a brutal defeat in 2024. That's a fact. But we have to do some introspection and be honest with ourselves as to what caused that and how to get out from that. And stop this blame game of trying to carry everything at the sins of everybody and put it on the person that does not deserve it. Because if you want to sit there and apportion blame, I think you would need to give me a whole day to do it properly.
Indeed. Dr. Kuyamwako, thank you very much. The 72% that I was mentioning about the Global Info Analytics was, in fact, on the supporters of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia who voted for him in 2024. They say that they still want him to lead the party in 2020.
Exactly. So that's a different metric.
Thanks for that.
But for the delegates, and again to correct Kobiam, for the delegates election, Global Info Analytics has never put His Excellency above 50. It was always in the 40s. So if you look at it, he's actually appreciated by 2 points. And what this means is that the people that believe in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, that voted for him in 2023, are still standing behind him. Exactly by the point I made by showing you the poll that Global Info Analytics put out in 2023. So just as I said, we remain focused. We will ask for your prayers and blessings to guide us as we go around the country and touch base with the party. We are just trying to bring back the love of NPP.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kuyamwako is the deputy spokesperson for the Bawumia campaign team. And earlier, we heard from Kobiamwa, who is also a spokesperson for the Kennedy Agyapong campaign team. And a bit earlier, we heard from Musa Dankwa, who is the executive director of Global Info Analytics. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more stories. Don't go anywhere.